In general, I'm not interested in game manuals because they are usually boring, too complex, and certainly not attractive enough to dedicate one of my podcast episodes to. But this one I'm about to tell you is really different because despite the fact it's a manual, actually it has a book format. Hello everyone, I'm Irene Ridarelli, writer, blogger and a passionate reader, and this is Into the Books. As I mentioned earlier, today's book is a game manual, but wait, don't be discouraged because this manual is not what you might think. Cyberpunk Red is different because it doesn't limit itself to explaining the rules of the game, but also offers a broader view of the story that the game is about. While reading this manual, I felt like if I was reading a real book, which is not something that often happens to me when I have to read this kind of material, but I'm talking too much about my personal experience without getting to the main topic of today's episode, which is this great but different great manual. So let's go there. Cyberpunk Red is the new edition of the classic role-playing game of the dark future that contains everything you need to explore the post-war Red years. An extensive, in-depth study on the history and geography of Night City and the cyberpunk world, as well as a wealth of information on the Red years. 10 roles to play: charismatic rockers, lethal loners, skilled netrunners, brilliant technicians, medtechs who save and destroy lives, honest media, dutiful law enforcement, conspirational corporates, cunning fixers, and nomads on the trail. The manual is complete with a huge collection of useful tools, weapons, armor, and ingenious cyberware to help you get further down the road. 3 scrimsheet quests to explain what cyberpunk is all about. Ready-made enemies to populate combat zones and corporate complexes, plus numerous encounters to prevent you from taking over the city and liberating it. As much as I enjoyed reading this manual, I have to admit that at first glance it may seem a bit chaotic. It is highly uncommon that the rules of the game are written from the perspective of the game's master, when at least 9 times out of 10 they are set from the main character's perspective, that is, from the player. Therefore, playing with rules established from this point of view, it might be a bit difficult to understand the mechanism, but once you are in, everything goes smoothly. What I really appreciated was the background of the story. It's really well developed because you don't get the impression that the world in which the story takes place was just created as an element to story's evolution. The world building is well structured because it has a solid foundation with its own history and, of course, its own rules. And in my opinion, this particular aspect alone is worth the effort of deciphering this manual. Thank you for joining me to the end of today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it all. Please let me know if you have already read this manual and leave your comments or opinion about it below. I would love to read them. If you haven't already done so, I invite you to subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and share this video with someone you think might be interested. As usual, I'll see you next week.